an American Ever After presentation. You know I'm going to get serious about this one, guys. Come on. I mean, we could go on forever about this, but I want to bring up the subject of military, okay, and all the different effects of the military. If you're prior military, if you know somebody who was in the military, if you got family in the military, heck, you might even know somebody who's getting ready to join the military. Guys, I got a lot of information I want to cover here, and this is, I mean, the reason I'm bringing this up is, we're going to have an effect again. We're coming up on our debt ceiling have to be lifted again. And do you remember what happened the last time? You remember what happened? Who they messed with first? First thing they did was take military disabled benefits. I mean, come on, that's kicking down somebody while they're down. That's pretty bad. I mean, we're getting ready to come up to that time again. So that's why I made this video, is so that you would understand that the times are being pressed. And I want you to know that every day, even though you might have forgot about it, if you know somebody's in the military, you're going to see how much they're being pressed and what the effects of being in the service, how they just doesn't go away. Once you're a soldier, you're always a soldier. You ever heard the term, you can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy? It works the same way with a soldier. You never die if you're a soldier. You're always a soldier. You're a soldier until you die. So I'm pretty passionate about this, being that I'm prior military myself, and I know that there's a lot of people who don't understand what's going on because they've never been under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. They've never had to go by federal law or been subject to other than just the federal law that most people follow or have to follow that are not military. Okay, I can see a militarization too of our police, and I'm going to touch on that and how that is affected our military going into law enforcement, and how that's going to affect you someday, how it affects me, and with what I know that's going on inside my head, and what I know what's happening, and what's going on with these soldiers right now. Like the biggest thing that I can think of that just blows me away, knowing that this is just a statistic that's out there and has been going on now for month after month after month, that our military we have a higher suicide rate than we do soldiers dying in combat, folks. I mean, come on, wake up. How many wars is the U.S. involved in, and we still have more soldiers killing themselves? Are you sure that's what's going on? I mean, hey, I want to bring this up. I mean, it's a tough time to be in the military right now. Well, here's what I'm saying. If you were in the service right now and you professed that you were a Christian, they would throw you out of the military. You think that might have anything to do with why people are committing suicide, guys? I mean, is that not a ridiculous thing going on? And we're just allowing this to happen? These soldiers out there are your kids. These are your grandkids. And you're just allowing this. These are the people that are supposed to be defending our country, guys. And we're allowing this to happen to these guys. No wonder they come back with PTSD and they have all these problems, Again, I want you to think about the life of a soldier. You're going to sign up, right? You're going to join and defend your country and go fight and be a soldier so that you can come home and be treated like crap. I mean, look at all these wars we've had, and look how we've treated our soldiers. You ever heard about the horror stories at the VA hospital about some of these prior vets? Some of the stuff that goes on in those. Look, these are the people that we are supposed. These are the people that are the reason why we have the freedoms we have today, guys. Is because of the soldiers that have taken on the responsibility of defending our country for all these great reasons, right? We're going to go over there and be a hero for our country. Well, again, I want to try to get into the psychological warfare that the military plays on the mind and its enemy and its own soldier it plays, okay? Imagine being a military soldier going thinking that you're going to defend your country for the right honor, but you guys, if you're in the know, if you're not a sleeper, if you're not just sitting there asleep on the couch with your hand cramped to your remote, you know that these military guys have gone over there. And let's take, for example, let's bring up the war of Afghanistan, okay? The longest existing war in the United States of America, Afghanistan, okay? Guys, before we went over to Afghanistan, 10% of the world's opium, okay, that's what they make your Percocet, or excuse me, yeah, that's what they make your Percocet, your Percocets and your Oxycontin. That's opium, guys. 10% of the world's opium came out of Afghanistan prior to us being over there, okay? A statistic to this day, 90% of the world's opium comes out of Afghanistan. Are you doing any math here on this, guys? Are you figuring this out? This is simple math. I say that a lot, but if you haven't figured this out, I'm here to help you figure this out and put the numbers together for you and make it very simple math like they do in the military, step-by-step instruction. I'm here to walk you through this until you can get it and get it through your head, until you can do it right. If we need to go over and repeat this, if you need to go back and watch this video over and over again until you understand what it might be like to be a soldier and be in the head and the mind of a soldier, okay? Another reason why I did this video is because Obama just had a State of the Union speech. Did you guys watch that? Did you make it through the whole thing? It sounded like a bunch of that was robbed off another State of the Union speech from the last imposter that was occupying the White House, okay? Look, how about that soldier? Now, I feel bad, but when they mentioned that soldier had served 10 tours, guys, 10 tours. Are you hearing me? 10 tours. That you got to count that on 2 hands, guys. 2 hands. 10 tours. Would you let your kid go over there for 10 tours? Okay? Who in their right mind would send a soldier over to wherever it may be, because we're involved all over the planet. It's not just the desert that we're involved in. Look, we've got military bases all over this planet, okay? And we still have soldiers that make sure that all those bases are protected and manned, and that's a lot of soldiers around the planet. So it's not just soldiers going to the desert, but I think a lot about a lot of these soldiers that are sent to the wars that we fight over there in the desert. But how many tours is enough? Okay, 10. I just can't get it through my head. What were they thinking, guys? I mean, did that not just make you want to throw up? I mean, and everybody was clapping, I mean, I understand you want to clap for the guy because, he's a hero, but I think everybody just should have shut up and looked at him and been in amazement. That was ridiculous. But again, I want you to think about all the occupants of that building. Do you think they really cared about that soldier? I think that was just a big dog and pony show parading a soldier. That was ridiculous, guys. 10 tours, man. Enough is enough. We need to figure this out, guys. These soldiers are going over there to fight wars that are not even for reasons that they thought when they signed up they might defend their country, have a word to be able to speak up in this country. That's why I feel like I can speak up. You got to understand, these guys don't know any different. Some of them, you go in there with the mindset of being a soldier. They break you down and rebuild you into a soldier. You're almost like a robot. You do what you're told. You do what you're told for your country. I'm not understanding, and I've seen it. At the last time that the government shut down, who was it that stood up to the police? Was it you, just a regular Joe out there? Was it the housewife? Was it just a regular citizen? Was it you computer techie guy? Was it you that worked at the coffee stand? No, it was the vets. It was the vets that pushed back on those cops. The only people that really stood up during the shutdown was our veterans. Guys, one of the most amazing, we could do this. Look, one of the most amazing displays I've ever seen in my life was when we took down those barricades. We marched them over to the White House, I saw something that brought a tear to my eye. It was one of the most fascinating things I've ever seen in my life. And it was the video footage of the gentleman who had both of his legs, a double amputee, both of his legs blown off, okay? And he was hauling a barricade to the White House. That right there is awe-inspiring. If that guy can do it, what are you doing? Get off your couch. Get out from behind that computer and do something about it. Maybe if you're going to be behind that computer, you too can make a video. You too can wake people up. You too can show people the light. Okay? Again, that's just awe-inspiring, guys. We took the barricades down and we said, no, you're not going to do this. You know, another thing I want to bring up about kicking our military while they're down. You know, those veterans on, I believe it was the Washington Memorial, okay, they were going there and they were kept and barricaded out of those memorials and not let these veterans, some of these veterans came from, again, think about some of the wars they've served. Some of these have spouses that live overseas and have come from other countries back to this United States, the country they serve, to go see these memorials. And our government, because they're doing a shutdown, and guys, let me bring this up too. Our government shuts down is the norm. You know, George Bush was the first president since I think it was Lyndon Johnson to not shut the government down. Okay, guys, they do this every time. It's like a negotiating thing, like a plea bargain, you know. It's all part of the system, okay? This is the norm, to shut this down, the government down. But never before have they done what they did, that pulled the stunts they did on our veterans, okay? And back to the memorial, you know, they did not allow those veterans to go up there and see those memorials. Those are their memorials, okay? Those are your memorials too if you live in this country. But guys, truly, those are the veterans' memorial. They are there for the veterans to remember all the times they've served. They don't allow these folks to hold their, just go there and see these things. They barricade them out. The very next day, they remove the barricades and they allow these. Now, look, guys, illegal immigrants, you guys, you even have people in this country who have came here illegally but have obtained citizenship through the years that don't want any more people and understand that we need to keep our borders closed. They're going to flood people in here, okay, and make them take away our gun rights and make them vote the way they want them to vote to give them rights. Don't you see that happening? I mean, that's simple math too, okay? But again, back to what I was saying. Is that not another disgusting act on these people who are supposedly supposed to be the people that, now keep in mind, guys, if you're one of those people that trust your government still, right? You trust and you believe that in the time of hardship and heartache, weather, or let's for say example that somebody from another country came and overran our country, these are the people that are going to save you. The same people that lock us out of our own memorials, shut down, kick the veterans out, but let the illegal immigrants hold a rally the very next day. Guys, these are the people you want to protect you? You trust those people? I mean, come on, wake up, guys. I mean, how much longer are we going to allow our soldiers to be treated like this, okay? I mean, there's things that are going on in the military right now. There's a term, the litmus test. And they're asking soldiers right now, when we bring up gun rights, would you take guns from the American people, which is posse comitatus does not allow that to begin with, guys. They're not ever allowed to have U.S. soldiers on U.S. soil, okay? That's ridiculous. There's laws that prohibit that. Yet that's maybe that's why there's 250,000 Chinese troops sitting in on the border of Mexico, and we've got nearly, I'm not sure how many Russian troops, again, I think it's 25,000 throughout the United States. If these soldiers, hopefully these are the ones that I hope that just aren't knocking themselves off, would stand up for this country, at least go out with a bang, so to speak, Don't go out that route. That's not the way for you. You know, speak up, speak out. I'm speaking to you right now. If you're listening to this and you're a soldier and you're on the fence on what to do, stand up for your country. Don't you remember what the pledge was? It was when you were there. Maybe it was when you took it at the MEP station. Maybe when you did your processing, when you got to your first duty station, and it said that I will defend my country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. These are domestic enemies on our soil. The war has never been here since the U.S. had fought in our Civil War, guys. I want you to think about, again, you trust that government? Hey, what if some of those people, what if there was actually a real terrorist event in this country where, like, you know, we keep pissing all these people off overseas around the globe. Mr. Imposter has been doing a really good job at that, pissing everybody off. You think sooner or later that somebody might come banging down your door? You know, if you go over and take a dump in the neighbor's yard enough, pretty soon he's going to either start throwing the stuff back at you, or he's going to be pretty pissed off and he's come bang your door down and knock you down. I mean, come on, let's be logical about this, guys. And so you're going to trust that same government to protect you if those people come over here? Look, come on, guys, be realistic. This is how they treat our veterans, and this, how do you think they're going to treat you? I mean, right now our veterans are over there fighting these wars, folks, and these wars, they don't even have hot rations. That means no food, guys, no real hot food. I mean, these are the guys that are defending our country, supposedly, and we can't even fund them to give them hot meals? No wonder they come back with PTSD. Again, you know, I want to bring that up, you know. I want to give props, and it's kind of, it's props and it's not, because, you know, this is a long time coming. The Oregon Medical Marijuana Program just recognized PTSD as a qualifying condition for soldiers to be eligible for a medical card for their PTSD. You know, long time coming. Jeez, guys, how much longer are we going to wait to help these soldiers out, okay? I want to bring this up. This is something, you know, well, how is this all going to affect me? What do I care about this? I don't know anybody's in the military. I'm not, okay, I listen to you so far, but I don't have a nephew or a grandson or any of those things. I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody's going into the military. Okay, well, you know anybody's a police officer? Okay, well, they're probably prior military, and I want you to look at this, okay, and I want you to consider what I'm about to tell you and how this will affect you someday if it already hasn't, okay? You take a soldier who was, again, defended his country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. You take those soldiers that are taking that litmus test where they ask them if they'll fire on their American citizens. If you're a real soldier, and you took that oath, you know you would never, ever, ever do that to somebody in your country, okay? You're loyal to your country because you're a soldier. Now you're in law enforcement. They take a lot of law enforcement officers from military, okay? You're loyal to your country, okay? You're a soldier. So whether you're an officer of the law and you're a peace officer, you're supposed to be a peace officer. Are you a police officer listening to this right now? I'm talking to you right now. You're supposed to be a peace officer. You're supposed to be out there keeping the peace, working of the people, for the people, by the people. What if these people have forgotten? That's the same oath a soldier takes, okay? Even if you're not a soldier, I'd ask you to take this oath right now. But I'm going to show you that there's a difference, okay, between a cop who has been prior military and a cop who hasn't, okay? And this is why this can and will affect you if it hasn't already. You take a soldier, he puts on his uniform, whatever, he maybe even be a dirtbag cop, okay? But when it comes down to this taking guns from U.S. citizens, and guys, we need them. We keep pissing people off around the globe. Sooner or later, they're going to come knock down our door, and we're going to have to defend ourselves from those people, okay? Our government has got us involved in a lot of overseas endeavors that have not come out, and we haven't won a lot of wars either. So, you know, it's not like we're really successful at this whole war thing. If you go back and you research and you know history, we don't have a big success at winning wars. The U.S. is not a successful state, okay? But take these two police officers. Now they're going to ask these two cops the same question. Will you take guns from U.S. citizens? Okay? You heard Obama say, hey, It's spewed out of his mouth. Mr. Obama says to us, he says, by executive order. I don't need the Congress. Basically, I'm giving it to you, in a nutshell so you can understand it more in layman's term. I don't need Congress to take your guns. I can do it through executive order. That's basically what he said. He's setting himself up to be, if he's not already, you've noticed, he's a dictator, guys. We're being run by a dictator. He makes decisions without the House, the Congress, the Senate. That's not the way this country was designed. This country was designed to have, just like in the military, there's a rank structure. There's a certain chain of command, certain order to you don't just go to the top of the house and make a complaint or a bitch or a gripe without getting your chewed out. There's a certain structure. You go to your first line, your first chain of command, the first person in your chain of command. If you don't get anywhere, you move up the ladder. If you don't get anywhere with them, you move up the ladder. You don't just go to the top, okay? There's law in this country. What he's doing is illegal, okay? What he's doing is not even law, okay? Again, I want you to, let's get back to what I'm saying. You ask both these police officers the same question. This one's prior military, this one's not. Will you fire on your U.S. citizens? Absolutely not. I would never do that to a U.S. citizen. I would never take a U.S. citizen's gun. That's our right? Isn't that an amendment right, guys? You know what amendment right is, right? Do you know about your amendments? Do you know how many amendments you have? Okay, your First Amendment, your Second, your Third, Fourth. Do you understand they're taking all these rights from us? The next one, after they take our Second Amendment right, you're pretty much, because they've already taken your First Amendment right, you're not going to even have the right to speak up about them taking your guns from you, okay? Let's ask this next police officer. Never served a day in the military. Never understood what it's like to defend his country. Wanted to serve his community. Wanted to serve his state, okay? I don't necessarily think that they think on the level of serving their country, and if they do, good for them. They're probably not a bad police officer. But here's the question. Will you take guns and will you fire on your own? Well, look, guys, these folks are loyal to their paycheck. They're loyal to their boss. They're not loyal to their country. So those are the guys that are going to be coming to take your guns. It's not the soldiers that you have to worry about. Hey, if you're a soldier out there right now, I want you to stand up. Guys, we need you. You are the backbone of our country. You are the only chance other than, hey, I understand. Look, I come home, I get treated like crap. What do I want to sit there and defend this country for anymore? Guys, we're soldiers, remember? We should all be soldiers for our country. We should all take that oath. I wish everybody would take that oath. Take it and understand that you must defend this country against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. And we have people all over our country right now that are enemies of the state, enemies of the country. Our biggest enemy, the biggest enemy that we probably have and the biggest gang we probably have in this country is our government. We've been warned about having a corrupt government before, guys. This is just, again, let me hit on a couple other things before I wrap this up. Guys, think about Christianity is being attacked, and they started with doing this in the military, okay? And it's just stuff, the trickle effect just keeps rolling down the line here. It doesn't stop. It's not, sorry, I'm getting a little light here from the background. It's nice to see the sunshine out there. You haven't seen that in a while. This weather right now. Anyways, okay, guys, I want you to understand that we're fighting for this country, okay? It's not perfect. I've often told people that, the whole idea of freedom and democracy, I think that's part of the problem is that, understanding that freedom is not free, okay? Freedom comes at a price. Freedom is something that, yes, we both have a voice, but as long as I don't threaten to take your life, I have the right to open my mouth and tell you that I don't like you. I don't like the color of your hair, that you wear those pieces of metal in your face or whatever, but you know what? You're entitled to wearing that. You're entitled to have your color of your hair. This is America, okay? But it's not free. Freedom is not free. I wish people would remember that this country was founded as a republic and not a democracy. Understand how easy it is to corrupt democracy, and that's why we need to get away from that and restore our republic, okay? Democracy. Let me give you an example, okay? Like kind of goes up there in the House and the Senate and the Congress, right? We go there and we vote, as long as it's the vote majority, right? Let's all raise our hands and the majority rules, right? Okay, well, let's say the vote is 49 to 51. Hey, look, that's only 2 schmucks we got to buy off, guys. And if they're out there printing money off like it's nothing, that's 2 people, and then they've got it made. Do you see where I was going? They buy off the 2 people. It sways the vote into. Look, they've got every one of these people in the House, the Congress, and the Senate in their pocket, guys. You know, take a contribution. Take some money here. Don't say anything. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal. You know, do it. Keep it on the hush. Next thing you know, they got it over your head. They're holding it over. You're not going to take money for your family. You're not going to take, you know. Look, guys, these are politicians. You think they care about where the money came from? And then once it comes down to it and they know they've got their in a sling, they're going to go along with the program too. I think that's what's happening with this country. We've got the government going along with the program. Then we got all these sheep out here just going along with the program right there. Everybody's just going along with it, and it's just slowly, you know, I'm going to bring this up too. You know, I think most people do understand this, and I better get this thing wrapped up. But you ever heard the old frog in the boiling water, you know, kind of analogy or theory? Okay, let's give you an example. You know, this is what's happening to us, guys. Right now, you guys are all sitting there and you're waiting for the big bang to happen. You know, you're waiting for them to come pound down your door and break down your door before they do something or before it's in your backyard, right? That's the water that's boiling, okay? If you take any reasonable person, and let's, in this case, you're the frog, or you and your family and the frogs, okay? And I throw you in a pot of boiling water. You're going to jump out of there because it's hot, right? You're going to kick and scream before I even throw you in the boiling pot of water, right? Okay? You know it's coming. That's what we should be doing. And right now, guys, I'm telling you the water is hot. I'm telling you right now the water is hot, okay? But you're not listening because you're one of those people where, let's take the same analogy. You're going to jump out of the water. You're going to probably get out of the water and live if the water's boiling. Let's say I throw you in the water and it's nice and, you know, it's nice and warm. Let's say lukewarm at this point. You know, nice 75, 78 degrees. And I just slowly increase the temperature on you. Slowly turn it up. You know, you're not going to get out of the water. You know, that's proof. I wouldn't recommend doing this unless you're hungry for some frogs, but, you know, if you turn the water up, they're not going to jump out. I can look at you and say, hey, man, this water's getting hot. Man, we need to get out of this pan. Okay, this is ridiculous. This is getting hot. You're like, no, this is great. This feels good, man. Next thing you know, you're boiled to death. Okay, that's what they're doing to us, folks. They're slowly boiling us, you know. It's time. I'm here to tell you the water's hot. You need to get out of the pot. The water is going to boil and you're going to die, okay? All of us, any of us, anybody we're all in this pot together. Weren't we taught that? This is the melting pot of America, okay? I'm here to wake you up, okay? Did you hear what I said? This is the melting pot. We're all in this together. Wake up, America.